I have resigned from my job. This is my first company, my first job. I've not had any breaks in my academic life. Literally from LKG till MBA, I have had no breaks whatsoever. And throughout all these years, despite all the personal turmoils that I've been through, one thing that I have, consistently done is not let things affect my academics. I was never like a very brilliant student by any means, but I have always performed consistently in an above average level throughout school also, and during my college life also. I've gone through a lot of difficult phases, but my marks were never affected. I would still sing, dance, act. I would do all of those along with my studies, along with all the things that I was dealing. I think the only time that I really crumbled would be during MBA. I was dealing with too much, or would rather say all that I was dealing with throughout my life, it just culminated in what happened with me during my MBA. Uh, I think that just was my brain's breaking point because because I did not let anything affect me. Maybe I should have let things affect me a little bit more and just let myself be sad or like just be affected. Like I never let myself go. Like I never shattered. I would just fight through everything, and I think maybe that resulted in my breakdown during MBA. I joined MBA, started going to the class, and then I think within a couple of months, maybe even less than that, maybe on the first month of my MBA, I was depressed. And because it was my first experience with the mental illness, it took me some time to realize what's happening. And then even after realizing it, I was really unsure of how I'm supposed to deal with it because I'm not used to, accepting that, okay, something has gone wrong. Like, I just go with it, I roll with everything. And this was the first time where my body and mind was not letting me roll with it. And then it just started shutting down on me for the first time in my life. And then it continued for a few years. So first year of my MBA, and then by the end of first year, COVID hit. So somehow how did I do it? Somehow I had survived through a year of MBA along with really, really difficult mental health problems. I was clinically depressed throughout my first year of MBA. I don't know how I did it. And then by the end of first year, COVID hits and we're back. I was back in Cochin, and I think that is when I got the time to accept it, or I was forced to accept it because I just could not, deal with being back at home. I left Kochi when I was 18 years old to do my undergrad. I left, and this was after so many years. I was back at home, not able to go anywhere, doing random things to keep myself busy so that my parents or anybody like don't notice that something's wrong with me. So I tried my best to cover up, and then there was a point where I just broke. So my second year of MBA was totally engulfed by COVID. I was doing it from home. I completed my MBA and I sat for placements from home while being clinically depressed and anxious with no sleep, no hunger. I really don't know how I was functioning at that point of time. It had gotten really bad by then. And then I somehow went through placements with that, and I was just so lucky. I am so lucky. I did not have to go through a lot of, like, somehow things always work in my favor. Like when I'm going through a difficult phase, everything else just happens easily for me. I sat for one company, which was Oracle, and that is where I got placed. First company that I sat for. I have endured through this job so much. Like I was at the worst of my mental health during the first year of this job. I was crying hysterically throughout. I would cry every day. I would be functioning on zero sleep because I had severe anxiety at this point that I had completely lost sleep. I ended up taking medicine because like I was not able to function at all. So I fought through a lot, but then it has already been 2 years. 2 years had passed and I was still dealing with things. I didn't ignore it. I did go for like regular therapy. I had consulted psychologists, psychiatrists, so I knew what is happening. I knew I have depression, I knew I have anxiety disorder. But then as work started, my anxiety just hit another level, and that is when I realized what I had before was actually not that bad. At least I could function. Like, it was at a level that I can mask it. Like, if there was a person in front of me, I could mask my depression and anxiety really well up until that point. But then I remember as my work started, my job started, I absolutely crumbled. My anxiety hit another level altogether. And then I just had my worst year, but also one of the best years of my life, very weirdly. Like, even recently, I have this highlights in my on my Instagram for the year 2022, because man, I cannot help but feel extremely proud of that girl. Like, the way I fought through 2022 should be on books. It should be made into a film. I think I just like peaked that year with my mental strength, like my emotional capacity to like live through anything. I was an unstoppable beast. I was fighting through severe depression and anxiety, but consistently taking care of myself uh, with the help of therapy and medicine and workouts, yoga, meditation. You name it, I have done it. I have done everything possible to help myself get out of it, and I'm so proud of myself for having the emotional capacity to do all that. This might be a little weird, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I got really overwhelmed last night, so I had to stop. This is the next day, and I think last night I stopped at what my life was like in 2022. Um, yeah, so a lot has changed since then. Uh, I started my job at 2021, July 2021. So by 2022 end, I had sort of settled a little bit with my mental health. Also, I was doing a lot better, uh, so much that I had the courage to move back to Bangalore. COVID and everything had settled, so I could uh, move back to Bangalore, which I eventually did. And then, yeah, I've been in the same company since then. I'm not the same, scared person who joined the organization. I know my job much better now, which has, you know, contributed to feeling a lot more confident and secure. So, this job change was in my 2025 vision board. Like, I was like, I totally dedicated my 2025 to two things. One was getting good at my job so that I can change. Like, I had to change the company this year. I was very sure that it's one thing that I definitely have to do, no matter how I feel about it. Like, no matter how much stress or anxiety I have to go through, I need to do this. And the second thing was that I had to get married. So, in my head, as 2025 started, these were the two main goals that I had: get through the wedding and get another job offer so that I can finally move from here. So that is what I'm doing finally. August 2025 was my wedding. It is done, dusted. All the dust have settled on that. And right after I got back to Bangalore after the wedding and everything, I started applying. All that I did, I didn't even like start to apply. I just created a Naukri account and updated my profile there. Just kept a completely updated profile in Naukri, and I started getting a lot of calls. So just through that, I attended few interviews. My job hunting process went rather smoothly. I had one extremely terrible interview experience, which was for KPMG. I had the most terrifying interview experience, so much so that I ended up dropping in between the interview. Please never do that. No matter how much overwhelmed you feel, please don't drop off of an interview. It's very unprofessional, and I shouldn't have done it, but at that point I had to, because I started getting so overwhelmed. I thought that, I'll start crying, or like I might start hyperventilating. So I ended up dropping out of that interview call midway, I would say. But other than that, all my other interviews went pretty well. Like, after giving the first 2 or 3, I really got a hang of it, and then I was able to drive the interview, the way I wanted it to go. So, yeah, so I sat for probably 5 to 6 interviews. That is all that I sat for, 5 to 6 companies, and most of them were just for practice. I actually didn't want to join that company, but I needed the interview practice. And finally, in my mind, I had like 2-3 companies in my mind where I would potentially actually join. And my first priority, I did not get a call back from, unfortunately. I went through 2 rounds of interviews for that. The final interview was also done, but after the final interview, I knew that I will not get a call back, because you just sense it from the interviewer's interaction. I felt like he was not in a good mood that day, and he just didn't care. Like, he didn't let me speak at all. Like, I think the interview ended in like 10-20 minutes, and he didn't ask a lot of questions. He didn't let me speak. He would always interrupt in between and then give his own gyan. So that went badly. uh, might be because of me, or it might be the interviewer, I'm not sure. But yeah, so my first preference in the order of preference, right? So that I knew I'm not getting. um, Maybe I could try, like, through an internal referral I could have tried to get in, but I don't know, I didn't try that. um, and the second and third options that I had in my mind, from both of them I got offered the job. So once I got offer from two companies, I decided to drop my paper, and that's what I did. I'm on my notice period, but still working my ass off. I thought notice period is going to be such a chill time. I'm going to chill. Nope, not in this company. um, so yeah, I'm in my notice period. I have uh, exactly 2 more weeks of work left, or 1.5 weeks of work left, and after that I'll be joining my new company, whichever that is. Like, I have offer from two people, right? So I'm still negotiating with both of them, and I have an idea where I want to go, but like, it's not confirmed yet. I need to get their final offer letter, I need to sign it, and I need to fix on the joining date. So that's where I'm at. But mentally, as usual, I am back to sort of like midway to where I was during my first interview process, 4.5 years ago, when I sat for Oracle. The way I felt, that is how I'm feeling right now. A lot of jitters, a lot of anxiety at night, especially. Like, my brain will just not stop. I'm like, what if both of them don't finally what if both of them drop you in between out of nowhere? What will you do? You will not have a job. So everything keeps going on in my head as usual. That is basically how a person with anxiety disorder works. That's how they function. That's how our brain works. It will keep giving us unnecessary worst case scenarios, and will keep us under immense stress. And that is exactly what I am going through. There are times when I have the crash, where I'm just feeling extremely overwhelmed, anxious, sad, stressed, everything together. But then, now that I have sort of reached a place where I know how to maneuver this due to experience, I sort of overcome it. But then sometimes it comes back. It's like waves hitting you. Sometimes it hits you and you just get back up, and then after some time it might hit you back again. So that's what's been going on. But keeping all the anxiety and everything aside, I feel really happy that I found the courage to take this step. That throughout these many years, I have not let my depression or anxiety hold me back anywhere in life. I don't say no to experiences because of this. I try to cope with it and do it anyways. I'm sure that might be because of the degrees that I am at. There might be other people in the world who are going through something much more severe, and they might not be able to do it. So I'm in no way saying that a person with anxiety and depression should just fight through it and just do everything anyways. Be a hero. Don't be a hero. If you're not able to do something, seek help. Take it in your own pace. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I hope I get all of these things sorted as soon as possible. I need to get through this relieving process, from the current company. There's a lot of, what is it? There are a lot of things to be done. I want that to get done smoothly. I hope I don't get like any roadblocks in that process with my relieving from Oracle, and I just want to get my final offer letter and the joining date from either of those companies as soon as possible. I hope nothing goes bad, nothing goes wrong, and everything just works out. It will.